Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be doing something that I'm very excited about because I'm going to be decluttering and organising my entire house. So it's just into March now, so I'm definitely getting more in the spring mood, although I have to admit spring in the Highlands is quite late coming and quite mixed. So it's actually been really stormy all night and the sun's coming out a bit now, but it's still on the cooler side. But I like to be prepared for new seasons and I tend to declutter like this, so the entire house pretty much on a seasonal basis. I do live in a tiny home, so you would think it doesn't take that long, and it doesn't take a huge amount of time, but I still think it's important to set aside time to do this, even though I do try and live minimally all the time and have minimalist hobbies, habits that I implement. So if I do see things that I think that need decluttering, I do tend to do it as I go and bring new things in. I don't always mean I'll declutter something, but a lot of the time it means I'm replacing things. So it's not extensive, and I've done this so many times now. I've been living more minimally now for about 4 or 5 years, so it is quite quick for me to do it, but I thought I hadn't really talked to you guys through how I do it, so I thought you'd be maybe quite interested in doing that and getting a bit of a spring reset, spring clean vibes. And I think if you are planning to clean, which I will also do at some point, doing like a nice deep clean for spring, it's much easier to do if you have less clutter lying about. So the first step for me is always to declutter and organise as well as I go. So I know there's a few areas in my home that just is not working, how I've currently organised it, so I'm going to mix that up as well. And I'm going to mostly be using the Marie Kondo method. So if you've not heard of Marie Kondo, I don't know how you've not heard of Marie Kondo, but she is a tidying expert. I love her books, and I love her Netflix series Tidying Up. And she makes it a lot easier by the fact that she recommends tidying or decluttering by category. And that's something that I do. I tend to follow her categories as well, and the essence for why that is important: one, it gives you a structure, so you don't just walk into a room and be like, where do I start? And two, a lot of these things can end up being spread through our homes, so like clothes, books, etc. And if you just go into one room, sort the books in that room, for instance, and then another room, sort the books in that room, you never really get in the whole picture. And she also recommends getting everything out of cupboards, etc., and like laying it out so you can properly assess it. And that's what I tend to do. And I actually have her book, so I don't have her first book, Tidying, The Unexpected Joy of Tidying. No, what is that book called? Life-Changing Magic of Tidying, mixing up books in my head. Unfortunately I had it on my Kindle and my Kindle was now dead. So I don't have that one, but I do have this one, Spark Joy, which is fantastic. It's more of an instruction manual, to be honest. The first book goes into a little bit about her, her sort of journey in with tidying, etc. This one is more like it takes you through every single step, and I think it's really useful. Is she splits these tidying into categories, so it's clothes, books, paper, kimono. Is that what she calls it? And kimono is basically everything else, so then you can split those into subcategories, and sentimental. So she has different sections for each different category. So you can see like the kimono section, she split it up for you, so you can just follow those. So that's what I do. I go into the contents again, and then I flick through the book. I don't have to read the entire book every time just to remind myself. And I've done a list on my phone of everything I'm going to be decluttering today. Some things I don't need to declutter because I've done it recently, or I just no need, but I'm basically going to go house top to bottom and take you guys along with me. And I'm always surprised at how much I end up with decluttering. You know, off the top of my head there's not much I can think of, but there's always like a decent pile by the end of it. So very excited, and let's get started with my clothing. Okay, so I've already got ahead on sorting my clothing, and I've laid it all out on the bed here. I've done it in categories just to make my life a little bit easier, and I will sort through it in categories as well. So yeah, this is pretty much everything apart from a few bits in the wash, but there's stuff I wear all the time, and I did actually check through it just in case, and yeah, I'm happy to keep all those. I've also got my shoes down there, apart from my walking boots and wellies, because again, I use those all the time, so I didn't feel the need to bring them up. So I'm just going to sort through all of these. The kind of questions I ask myself are the traditional Marie Kondo ones around, does it spark joy? But I also look to think like, when was the last time I wore it? Do I enjoy wearing it? Does it fit with my lifestyle and my own like authentic style? And because I've done this so often, it is quite intuitive. I don't feel the need to go through every single question, but I do think if you're quite new to decluttering, having a set of questions to go through can be super useful. So yeah, I'm not thinking there's going to be a huge amount of here I'm going to get rid of, but there are already a couple of things I have in mind that I think it's time to let go. So I'm going to start sorting through it. Okay, so that's me sorted through all my clothes. I put everything back, and these are the things that I am considering decluttering. So the first one is this coat. I've not had this coat super long. I've probably had it for about a year or so. And I do really like it. It's like a big, puffy, showerproof type coat. But the thing is, I don't tend to wear it very often, mostly because it is really thick. So I don't wear it when I'm out hiking. I wear it on the occasional short dog walk, but I get too hot. And also it's a bit tight around like the hips for me, so doing it up is a bit of a nightmare, and it means I can't really access the pockets when I've done it up, which feels a bit pointless. And I also bought myself a new coat. So this was my kind of nice coat, and then I was like, actually it's not really it's not really super nice. I wouldn't wear it to a wedding or anything like that. So I have actually recently invested in a nicer coat. I'll show you this one. Can't really see it that well, but it's just like a long grey coat that I can wear to like weddings and nice events and stuff. And I think getting rid of the green one will encourage me to wear this one more. So I think I'm going to do that. Some of these are definite, some of these are maybe. So I think I'm going to do this as a maybe pile, and my maybe pile tends to live in the car, so it's out of sight, and then I can decide. Other bits, so I've got 2 pairs of trousers, like 1 pair of jeans here, my only pair of jeans actually, and 1 pair of like linen trousers. So similar reasons why I'm getting rid of these, in the sense that I don't wear them very often. I find skirts and dresses in particular, a lot more comfortable, and I live in leggings basically, and I just don't know how practical they are. These are really nice. These are a really nice pair of jeans. I actually thrifted these off Vinted quite recently. They're Everlane, and they are really nice. I do like the fit, but I never wear them. And I always kept a pair of jeans, thinking you needed 1 pair of jeans in your wardrobe just in case. But I'm like, years go by and I rarely wear them, so I'm like, do I? Plus, because they're Everlane, I think I could get, a decent price for those, so I could probably sell those. These are just a pair of linen trousers from Marks and Spencer's that are nice, but they're just not super comfy. So I just don't wear them. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes you have an idea of what you want your clothes to be like, and then you've got to match it with actually what you're actually wearing. And then the last bits, this is a jumper I have thought about decluttering for, I don't know, over a year. It's really lovely. It's also from Everlane. And I think part of the reason I'm getting rid of it is that it's a difficult thing to wear, in the sense that it's a knit, so it's fairly warm, but then it's also really lightweight. So I never know, what time of year is best to wear it. It's also hand wash only, which I find very irritating. And then recently, I can't remember where the stain is, but there has been a stain on it that is kind of like the final straw with this. So again, it is Everlane, so if I manage to get the stains out, it could get me some money. So I think there's time to definitely let this one go. And then last is just an old t-shirt that has holes in it, essentially now. So I bought a couple of new t-shirts recently, so I'll replace that. And then this, again, I've not liked for ages. It doesn't fit with my style really at all. It's just a cheap handbag. And again, it's the kind of thing I'm like, maybe I should have one in my wardrobe. It's an important thing to have, but I never wear it. But I do need a smaller handbag, so that may be something to go on my shopping list for this season, because I do tend to shop seasonally, and if I put this out of sight, it will remind me, I actually do need to get something that's more aligned to my style. So yeah, good few bits done there. No other changes to shoes or anything like that. Super happy with that. So that's me done the books now. I've kept most of them. I don't know if this is a lot of books. I can't decide for someone that reads a lot, but I tend to just keep what I will either read or reference again, and the rest will go. Some are more sentimental, so these are a series of books I read when I was a kid, and yeah, really loved them. And I have actually read them again since being an adult and still loved them, so I thought fair enough. Plus my dad, bless him, he read these books as well and he really loves them, so I think we're definitely going to keep them in the family, whatever happens to them. And the rest, yeah, are ones that I'm happy to keep. And then I've just got a little pile here of books that I have read and are now ready to pass on. This was amazing, by the way. And I've got a friend that we do a lot of book swaps with, so I'm going to basically put these in the car for her to read. And yeah, oh, well, this one maybe, I don't know if she'd be interested in this one. This is one I've had for a while, and I read it and I enjoyed it, but it's kind of one of those books you kind of keep just because the cover's pretty, which is a fair enough reason, but I've got other pretty covers that I read more, so that's the books done. So now I think I'm going to be moving on to paper. So for paper, I don't actually have very much stuff. I try to digitise most things, so I'm going to combine it with sorting through my stationery, which again isn't very much. This is stationery and hobby, I suppose, because I've got like my watercolours in there and just, you know, sellotape, bits and bobs in there. So I'll sort through that and wrapping paper. That's why I keep my wrapping paper. And then I've got my notebooks as well, and all of my kind of normal paperwork stays in this file. So I'll just check through that. And then this is kind of a problem area. In the house, there's always some that just never stay organised. So this is a combination of paper, but also stuff for my job as wildlife conservationist. So I've got random like binoculars and all sorts of stuff in there. So I think I'm just going to basically sort through this and maybe separate out the paper and try and reorganise it. This is really difficult to get in and out, and I end up just lobbing things in it, so it might actually be better not to be in this, and I could use this for something else. I don't know. I think that's the thing. If you can reorganise as you go when you're decluttering, that's great, but also like if you've got a lot of work to do decluttering wise, I would just make a note of it and not get distracted in like making things look pretty, because otherwise you'll just be on one category for ages. So I'm just going to whiz through these bits now. Okay, that was very cathartic. I should say that all of these decluttering sessions are only taking me about 10 minutes at a time. I appreciate that I've already lived quite minimally, so I don't have as much stuff, but you can really get through this stuff pretty quick. So even if you have just one problem area you want to sort in the house, like it will take you like not long at all, and you'll feel so much better and things will be much easier afterwards. So this is my, things to go, move around or whatever. So this is just a map that is my partner's, and I'm not sure how it ended up in there. Just old paper, scraps and stuff to recycle, a couple of notebooks. So this one I haven't actually used. I was kindly gifted it, but it's not a size that I tend to use with notebooks, so I'm just going to donate that one. And this is one that I have finished, so I can now recycle that. And then I don't have a printer anymore, or at least I don't have this printer anymore because it broke, so I'm just going to find a way of disposing of the ink cartridge. It's brand new, so again I might be able to donate that, I'm not sure. Some very old safety pins that are actually quite rusty and I don't use, so I'll figure out if there's any in there that's salvageable. And then dried up Pritt stick and masking tape, which is I'm going to keep, but it's for painting, so I'm going to put it in the garage instead. And I might use this for my wardrobe, from some clothes storage. Like I try and just put things that are really out of season away, just to keep things clearer, so I think that will be useful for that. And then I'll show you the cupboard work in progress. So that's already feels a lot better. So I have my paperwork in there, and then I have like packaging and printer paper behind there. And now I'm dreading this one, sorting through electronics. This came out of this, so I'm not sure what to do with this. Again, this is my kind of work as a conservationist electronics. I tend to keep those separate from my own personal electronics. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. They're close to each other, but they're slightly separate, so I've now got to sort through all these tangled wires, which is just, it's not the best fun, is it? But I'm going to do it. I'm going well. I gotta keep going.
So that one wasn't as fun. I'm not sure how much progress I've made. I didn't declutter anything actually. I just moved it all around. So in this one I've kept all my work related things. I could do with maybe a shelf in here or a basket or something, but this is actually better than that grey storage box I had because I can get at things easier. So it's a work in progress. And then I just kept my own electronics up here. So this is great. This is like a desk organizer. So I've just used it to like separate out my wires and stuff. And then I keep my laptop, my personal, my work laptop on there. And then camera kit kind of goes in here. I usually have, I'm holding obviously my camera and my tripod and another tripod I'm using. But that's pretty minimal. This is my partner's box that he uses to keep some drawing stuff in, and this is like my box of sentimental items that I'm not going to go through today because I don't feel the need. I think that's a decent amount of things just to hang on for sentimental reasons. And now I'm going to go through my makeup, skincare, toiletries, that kind of thing, and show you how much of that I have. I think for some people that's a big category. For me it's really not, so I'll show you why. So that took me all of 2 seconds. I didn't bother filming it. I just basically got everything out and cleaned things up. And again, I'm not decluttering everything. I use all this stuff. So this is essentially all my hair care, makeup and toiletries, bar my shampoo, conditioner and shower gel that I keep in the main house because we use the main bathroom in there. This is it. So it's really not very much. Hair care is just one scrunchie and then some hair ties and bobby pins, hairbrush, hairdryer that I very rarely use. I usually air dry my hair, but it's a handy thing to have about. Jewellery, even more minimal. I've decluttered my jewellery over the years. It was all poor quality and I don't wear much jewellery, so all I have left is my watch. I've got this which has my locket that's sentimental and I still do wear it, and a ring in there I think, and then this is just a separate packaging for a necklace that I wear all the time that my friend got me for my 30th. So I would like a bit more jewellery than that, but I'm very picky and I don't wear a huge amount of it, so I think I'm just going to slowly build that up. And then makeup wise, again, even more minimal. I just have like a foundation, a blusher. Both could do with replacing. They're both getting a bit old, to be honest. And I could probably just do with a concealer rather than a foundation because I rarely use it. A mascara, one lipstick, and then like tools, I suppose. There, I'm not looking for much more makeup than that. I don't really wear it a huge amount, so that's fine. And I keep all these bits in this wee drawer system, which is quite handy, and just keep that in the bedroom. And then toiletries that I've got in here anyway. Deodorant. I like the Salt of the Earth one. It does work for me. Whoops, it does work for me. Some people I think don't think it works that well, but it tends to work pretty well for me. This is like a little luxury thing. My mum got me this and I've actually really enjoyed using it. It's like a little essential oil balm thing that you put on your, like, roll on your wrists and stuff, and I do that every morning. It's just like a nice wee treat. I've got 2 cleansers just because I was using this one by Body Shop, and I still do use it a bit, but I had quite a lot of hormonal breakouts recently, and I wasn't sure if this was doing a huge amount for that, and so I thought I'd try this one. So this was sent to me actually kindly, and I've really enjoyed using that. It's a lot more cleansing, I suppose. It's kind of like using a clay face mask. I think it's similar vibe to that, and it's just the powder and you add water to it. It's quite cool. So I've been enjoying that, and I'll just use this one up as well. And then just moisturiser. I think I showed you guys this the other day from when I was in Inverness. Not focusing. It's a bit better. Just one moisturiser. So yeah, that was super fast. No decluttering there. I need to review my list because I can't remember what's next. So I'm almost there. I just looked at my wee list again and Marie Kondo's recommendations. So kitchen is a big one. I think it's a big one for everyone. It's definitely a big one for me. I've already partially done this though. I did this the other week because I was cleaning the cupboard doors and then it escalated to I need to clean what's inside the cupboard, so I took everything out to clean them. So I already did my food. So Marie Kondo suggests separating out your kitchen into different categories. So she says food, what you cook with and what you eat with is broadly the category. So I actually did food, cleaning supplies because they're in my kitchen as well under the sink, and what I cook with, but I didn't do what I eat with. So I'm going to quickly do that. So that's like mugs, plates, cups, cutlery, stuff like that. And then apart from that, I suppose it will just be another quick whiz round for any other stuff. So home decor is on her list. I don't really have much, but I have a few bits of like seasonal. I say seasonal, there's just literally a few pine cones dotted around the house that I might want to now winter spring change that up. And I think I've got like a plant pot that has no plant in it because I'm a bad plant mum and it died. So yeah, I think I'm just going to rush through because I'm getting hungry now. It's getting close to lunchtime. I'm going to rush through these last things and then I can show you the final pile of what we've managed to declutter today. So again, that didn't take super long and nothing to declutter. So in terms of what I eat with, there's my sort of plates and bowls around there. These are my surplus. These bamboo ones are pretty much my surplus ones, whereas I use these ones I got from Dunelm more so. But what I do use these ones for is obviously if you have extra people or when I cook and measure and stuff. So I chop vegetables, I often put them in like a bowl to keep them nice, and when I measure things I often use these bowls, so I actually do use them quite regularly. And yeah, that's not an excessive amount of plates and bowls anyway. There is only 2 of us most of the time in here eating, so we don't need a huge amount. And then we've got glasses, so these are just, yeah, normal glasses. This was something I stole from my partner. He used to keep pens in it, I think, and I use that as my smoothie jar now because that's nice and big. I use this jug pretty much daily because I fill it with water and lemon to remind me to drink, and then I keep these little jars. So this one's mostly for like mixing dressing, like shaking it, and this is just a spare. I often have a spare one on hand, so if there's some things that I've bought that would do better in a jar. Got some pine nuts recently, so I'm probably going to use that and reuse jars where I can. And then my beautiful mugs are obviously not going anywhere. They'll be hung straight back up, and my teapot, again, that's a bit of a luxury item. I don't use it loads. When I do use it, I really like it. Plus it's pretty, so it looks nice up on this shelf where it normally lives. And in terms of decor, oh no, I'm finished. Cutlery, obviously that was fine. I just gave it a quick wipe out because I always get loads of crumbs in cutlery drawers. I'm not sure why, because you put things in clean and it still gets crumbs in there, but anyway. And then my decor, which is just a few pine cones and stuff that I had, like I said, that now we're into spring. I think I'll change it up and probably get a little posy of dried flowers or something. And then yeah, this plant pot that I no longer need. So feeling pretty good about that. And this is what we're left with. This is my decluttering pile for this spring. It might not seem like a lot. I know when I've watched declutters online, there's like bags and bags and bags of stuff. But like I say, I do this all the time, like small amounts of decluttering. I'd already done the kitchen, so that was, to be fair, that wasn't a huge amount of stuff. That was just a bit of reorganising more than anything else. And I live in a tiny home, so you can't have much stuff. But interestingly, this time around, clothes have come out like the biggest. Sometimes I literally get rid of nothing. It really varies. But I often get rid of like random bits of paper and things like this in a tiny home. They do build up, and these little things have been niggling me. So I feel so much better for this. Thank you very much for keeping me company as I decluttered my tiny home. I hope that gave you maybe a little bit of inspiration if you've got some areas in your home you'd like to tackle this season. I want to like premise that obviously everyone's very different, so the amount of stuff I have suits me and my lifestyle, but that might not be the same for everyone. I think particularly when you look at the different categories, they're going to be widely different between different people. So I don't want this to make you feel bad about how much stuff you might have. It's more just to show the method, what I use, which is essentially Marie Kondo's method, and I do think, you know, it's the original, it's the best. So I find it having a structure, basically, whatever structure you end up using, having a structure when you're decluttering, and doing it regularly and making it a habit means that it's not really hard work anymore. So yeah, I recommend reading her books as well if you want an even more in-depth method. So I'll link those down below if you've not read those. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this kind of content. I'm definitely getting more into like organisation type content now we're into spring. It's definitely the sort of stuff that I spend my time doing, so I wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope it was helpful, and if you do declutter, let me know how you found it and the kind of common things you find that you've been decluttering, because I always find that really interesting. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next week.